Hi, my name is Nick, aka the Coffee Detective, and today we're going to have a look at making coffee with a Vietnamese fin filter brewer, which is what you see on the top here. So when you're served Vietnamese coffee, there are a few kind of defining characteristics. One is that you are often served it in a glass. You can certainly make it in a cup or a mug, not a problem, but traditionally it's served in a glass. Another weird thing about it, or different thing about it, is that it has condensed milk in the bottom. And actually, why don't we do that right now? I'm just going to put 2 teaspoonfuls, and this is invariably messy because condensed milk is very sticky and gooey. It's like kind of syrup, I guess. So, yep, I've made a mess with that. Let's see. So that goes in the bottom. Not evaporated milk, not cream, condensed milk. Okay, so now let's look at the elements of the little brewer itself, and we'll put them in place. There's a drip tray that goes on the bottom, which is perforated. There's the main brew chamber, which also has a little perforated base in there. This is very, very simple stuff. This is all stainless steel, no plastic, nothing like that. Now, inside here we have an interesting thing, also perforated, called a kind of gravity spreader. And I'll explain how that works in a moment. And then finally we have a lid that goes on top. Super simple. This is like 10 bucks to buy this. So nothing fancy here at all. So we're going to get cracking here. We've got the condensed milk in our glass. We've got the little tray there. I'm going to put in here, this is about an 8-ounce chamber. So I'm going to put in 1 coffee scoop on top. I'm going to shake it a bit so it's even across the base there. I'm going to put it onto the little tray, and now I'm going to drop this little gravity spreader on. Now I'm not going to press it, I'm not going to push it, it just sits on top there. So this is kind of strange in terms of pour over, because in pour over systems you don't really have something sitting on top of the coffee like that. But we do with this system, which is one of the things that makes it unique. Now, just before I started recording this, I brought this water to the boil, and what I'm going to do now is not fill it up, I'm just going to put a little bit in there. And what I'm doing now is I'm just dampening the coffee that's in between the base of this chamber and the bottom of that gravity spreader. So it's kind of sandwiched in between these 2 filtered sheets of steel. And I'm just going to let the water totally immerse the coffee there. Hey, this is the same principle as if you have a house plant and you let the soil get really, really dry, and then you water it, and you find that the water just goes all around the soil or straight through the soil and doesn't really dampen the soil because it's just too dry, the water just runs off. Same principle here. We want to get all the coffee grounds nice and damp and receptive before we do our main pour, which we will do now. So now basically I'm just filling this chamber to the top, and you can see it already beginning to come through. And I'm going to put this final part, this little lid on the top, and we're just going to leave it. We're going to leave it about, it takes about 3.5 minutes for that to drip through. So I'll be back with you in a few minutes. Okay, and we're back, and that was pretty much exactly 3.5 minutes, which is really good, because if you do any kind of pour over brewing with a filter cone or a Chemex, you know that's the kind of sweet spot, 3.5 minutes in terms of immersion time. So it's pretty cool the way they've designed this with all the right sized holes in those perforations, so that the drip through takes that exact amount of time. So that's great. So now we're going to take this whole thing off. This is pretty hot, obviously. If you pick it up at the base here, it's okay. So I'm going to put that on a little plate there because it's going to drip. And now here we have it. You can just see at the bottom the condensed milk. It doesn't mix, but it's going to now, because I'm going to stir it up. And what you're going to get here is a pretty sweet and very kind of creamy kind of coffee. Now, it can be nice as it is, as a hot coffee, but where it's really, really good is where you use it as a base for iced coffee. So you can either let this cool and then put some ice cubes in here, or you can have a taller glass or ready to go with ice cubes in it, and then pour this over the ice cubes and enjoy it that way. So Vietnamese coffee, it's a little different. It's really interesting with the condensed milk. The actual brewing system is super simple, super inexpensive, and for anyone who, hey, just doesn't like the environmental trauma of coffee making with all that plastic and all that stuff being thrown away, I mean, this is amazing, because all it is it's stainless steel, a few simple parts. You can, now I'm just going to drop this, the used coffee grinds into my little compost bin in the kitchen here. And that's it. It's got a zero environmental impact of making the coffee, and no plastic or vinyl or rubber or anything while you're making it. So there you go, Vietnamese coffee. Give it a try. Thanks.